Republican Congressman David Valadao is live with us in studio this morning. Congressman, big day for you. Second time around. Is it any easier?
It's always the same. I mean, you go in, you're always stressed, you're always concerned because you have no control over it. You watch and see, you talk to people. We've been walking precincts, making phone calls. The response has been very positive, but you're always just nervous until the end.
Did you sleep last night?
Oh, yeah. It was a long day yesterday as well. So when I do fall into bed and have to get up early in the morning, we sleep a little bit.
So today, just so viewers don't know, it's an interesting situation in California. There are three candidates running in the 21st District. You are the incumbent Republican Congressman, Amanda Renteria and John Hernandez. Now, whoever gets the most votes, the top two vote getters, then run in the general election, which is in November. So that's not the case in all 50 states. Pretty interesting here in California.
It's mostly just, every state's different, and even states like Louisiana have some interesting systems, but California's is pretty new. It started in 2012. The 2010 race when I ran for the Assembly, we still had primaries, Republicans versus Dems, and then we'd go into November. Here, technically, 2 Dems, 2 Republicans, 2 independents can make it in the general, which makes for interesting races in the state right now.
I've always meant to ask you this. You've been on the show several times, and I'm sure you'll come on as the election approaches. You know, should you make it through today, I'm confident that you will. But are you confident that you will, by the way?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I've always wondered this. Senators are elected for 6-year terms. The president serves 4 years. Congressman, it seems like you're always running. Yeah. Is that the case?
Yes. It never stops. The day after you win election, you've got people already challenging you, and in 2 years to get the type of, it's 700,000 people.
Yeah.
You can't talk to 700,000 people in a month.
Right.
And so when someone decides they want to run against you, they start working the next day, sometimes the day after you're sworn in, but it never stops.
And you're flying back and forth, east to west, California to D.C., right?
I've already got over 100,000 miles this year flying.
Oh, my goodness, on your private plane, right?
Oh, yeah. Flying United.
Well, all right, let's get down to some serious stuff here. Is it an uphill battle in a state like California that went blue for Obama? It's a blue state in some districts. Is it an uphill battle as a Republican?
You know, different parts of the state are. There's some really strong conservative parts. There's some really strong liberal parts. I actually represent one of the 50-50 districts, and it's one of those that's interesting because it gives me a lot of room to just, hey, this is what the best thing is for the district, this is the best thing for the state, and so it's actually a nice deal. You don't have to be a partisan politician. You can just be a normal person trying to represent an area, and it's actually a nice place to represent. I'm really proud of my community.
Yeah, and you're a local guy as well. Congressman, who would you prefer to face in this election if you had a choice, Hernandez or Renteria? You
know, both have their qualities. I'm waiting to see how it plays out, but I really don't want to get into choices. You can't endorse an opponent.
If you, that's a good point. Should one of those two be your opponent, would you be open to coming back on the show and having sort of an informal debate with one of them?
Yeah, I'd be interested. We've done some forums already, and we've had those type of conversations, so I have no problem with that.
All right, let's talk about something that just happened. The water bill that you've been championing has passed. There'll be a conference coming up. Tell the viewers a little bit about that.
Well, as everybody knows, we passed 3964 back in February, and we've been trying to get the Senate to act for years, and Senator Feinstein, along with Boxer, actually introduced and passed a bill off the Senate floor a couple weeks ago. That bill is passed, so now we have the opportunity to go to conference. And where conference comes in is because our bills are so different. We don't believe the Senate will pass ours. We will not pass the Senate's version because they're so different. We're going to go into negotiations now, and hopefully we can come up with something stronger than the Senate bill. And I know they're going to try to weaken ours, but our water situation is the #1 issue facing us in the Valley, and we're making some progress. This is the first time in years, I would say decades, since we've had an opportunity like this to actually debate and push a piece of language to the President's desk. So it's actually a really good accomplishment.
And that continues to be a very serious issue. What would you say is your crowning achievement or the piece of work that you're most proud of after one term in Congress?
You know, it's hard to get things done as a freshman, but there's a lot of things in the Farm Bill that we did fix. The Farm Bill's been an issue since I'm a dairy farmer, and so I've always struggled with some of the programs that government think are supposed to help us in our personal businesses, and we cleaned up the Farm Bill. There was a lot of language that I introduced as standalone language that actually made it in the Farm Bill, was passed and signed into law. But crowning achievement, water.
Water.
If you think about what's going on in the past, anybody that's followed the water debate for so long, from basically the 80s through the 90s and into the even this decade, all language has been, or all bills passed and signed into law were to take water away from us, environmentalist policy that's been hurting us. This is the first piece of language that's actually going the right direction for us to try to help us. And to finally get the Senate to act and bring a bill, that's an achievement in itself.
I thought you told us you were going to make it rain when you ran a couple years ago. No, quickly, Congress, we have about 15 seconds left, but Bo Bergdahl, the president arranged his release for 5 detainees from Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. What do you think about this, quickly?
You know, on the surface, one of our guys coming home, you always want to be happy about that, but there's a lot of details there that, a lot of stories out there. I want to see the facts before I know for sure how to comment on this, but everything we're seeing on, about this gentleman and the 5 gentlemen that we released from our prison, this is not looking like a good deal for us.
Now, we haven't heard from Bergdahl yet. As soon as he makes his way back to the States and is taken care of by, health people and that sort of thing, I'm sure we'll hear his side of the story. But some people say he was a deserter, and these 5 detainees are Afghan prisoners from Cuba. A lot of people say they have ties to terrorism, and they might just be reinserted in the network.
If they were in our prison, they had a tie to terrorism.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's an easy one. But as far as with our prisoner of war that was released, he, as far as his emails, what his family was saying, what his fellow soldiers were saying about the day he left, the soldiers that we left looking for him, it's all pointing in a bad direction. And we really wish the president had taken some time to reach out to us and talk to us a little bit about this before he had done what he did.
All right, that is Congressman David Valadao, your representative right now from the 21st District. Today is primary day. Good luck today. We hope to see you back as the general election. We head into the general election. For any voting information, you can go to our website, bakersfieldnow.com. You can find me on Twitter @RobFinnerty.